Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher, one more time. On the last video that I made, I had to break it up. So this is going to be the second half of what I just did. And this is on shaping the owl's face. We are going to be doing the tufts that come off the top, which look like ears. Okay, they're not, but it's like the tufts that stick out. We're going to shape these. I'm going to show you how. On the previous video I just did, it's the beak. So one other thing, I'm going to apologize. I drifted a little bit in and out on the video. So I think most of it is giving you a lot of information, but I sort of walked off the camera a little bit in that range, but I think you got enough to get it together, and I apologize for that. I try to stay focused in an area so that you're right up there and you see it all, but that happens. The other thing I also want to state on this video is that I want to thank everybody for helping me reach over 1,000 subscribers. Okay, I just reached that. I'm going to try to do this for a couple videos here just to thank everybody. And the one subscriber that says, hey, I put you over the top, I appreciate his comment on that as well. If anybody would help me out along the way by passing my information about my channel, that would be great. I would really appreciate that. I'm trying to give you step-by-step ways of doing the cardinal, well, not the cardinal, the owl, but I'm doing this in every video that I did. I did the otters originally, and they were step-by-step. Everything I teach is like what I've used to do in class. So I'm giving it to you as if I were giving it to my students here in my studio. So I hope you are getting something out of it from some of the comments that I've gotten. I really appreciate all the comments that most of you had stated. They were very nice, okay? I don't try to confuse you, but I can. I know I can hear myself sometimes. The measurements, like I said, I'm going to try to go metric all the way, but I'll throw in a couple of fractions of an inch or something like that when we're doing it. But for the most part, I'm going to try to stay metric and alleviate that. And the other thing I want to state too is I'm probably going to do it on the next video. One of my subscribers had tried another sealer, so that when you're finishing the bird, before you paint it and paint it white, there's a primer out there. You would have to read the email I got from them, but I will get that information out. It is a brand name, brand name product, and I will alert you to what he had stated, and he had used it, so he was happy with it too. So wherever I have information where I can give you sources and what to use, I'll try to do that, because I have an experiment with everything. I'm like an old dog trying to learn new tricks. And the Krylon spray, I hate to tell you how long I've been using that. Oh, maybe 40 years. And I stay with it. And but hey, there's all kinds of stuff out there. And like I said, some of the best carvers in the world, like bird carvers and stuff like that, they use gesso, and I avoid it like the plague, but it's out there. And like, you can use almost anything. So I'm not trying, I sound like I'm trying to say not to use it, but you could. It's just knowing how to use the product. I water the gesso down when I was using it, and it still came up heavy for me. But it's to each his own. And I'm trying to give you my method on how I do things, but learn from everybody. So be open and be aware of what somebody else may be doing, and you incorporate it into your piece, and that makes your piece unique. And one of the things I want to do before I get too far into this owl, I will probably on the next video bring my original owl that I did. I was in training with really a world-class bird carver at Ernie Muhlmatt, and I used to take classes with him, and I did that for a few years, and I copied almost everything he did in his style, and I'm sort of still doing that to some extent, but I've developed my own style. And I want to show you a bird that I didn't copy from him, but within that time period, we're talking about in the 70s, the mid 70s, almost late 70s, I should say. And I'll show you the piece. I took Best in Show in it, and my wife loves it, but I want to show you what that looks like back in the 70s to what I've done today. So everybody can make improvements, and maybe you'll like what I've done before, but I'll show you probably on the next video, and you can be the judge of that and see. But the more you do, the better you'll get. So with that in mind, I'm going to take you and add the rest of the video that I created and how to break it up, because it got over an hour long and I didn't want to give you all that at one time. So we will be doing the tufts on this video, and we will and on the video before this, which you'll have seen probably, we'll show you how to bring the beak out, and that's a little tricky. So we'll show you how to do that. So and again, I apologize for going off camera a little bit here and there. So see you on the next video, and thanks a million for getting me to 1,000. I'm still trying to climb. You know, I need a lot more on watchtowers and stuff like that YouTube requires to get monetized. I'm not there by a long shot, but I'm growing. So thank you again. I really appreciate you sticking with me, and if I'm a help to you, I'm glad I am. Okay, so here comes the video. Try to achieve is we have coming off of here, we have like a, let's see if I got this right. I'm looking at my other finished pieces, and we have coming off the top, like right here. I'm going to come right off of here, and we have that. I'm going to come a little above the opening of the eye and go straight across. Like it's like this here, but not as steep. We're coming across here, but we're going to turn over to here. So we're actually above the eye slightly, and we're coming across into this tuft. And then this tuft is coming up and around, and it comes full. Now, what I'm going to try to do is undercut this ever so slightly, And then we're going to try to do some shaping of the tuff right now, okay? Now, I'm going to switch over to my fat flame. That's this guy here, which is the heavier one. I'll put that in there. Hello. What that's indicating when you get that kind of noise is that from leaning on this, the bit goes out around. And when it really starts screaming, you got a bit that the shaft is bent, so you have to push it in a little bit more to stop the sound, because too far out, it's screaming, and you don't want that. Now, I'm going to come in along this line, and I'm laying this way. And then I'm going to come up and get deeper in here. Right along that pencil line. You thought I lost the pencil line, but it's still there. I'll show you. Here it is here. Here's the pencil line. Here's it coming across. There it is there. That's your tuft. So I'm going to tack right across here. I'm going to take some of this out in the back here, up top. So I'm going to lay this bit in at the top here, and then I'll knock down some of this in the back end here, just a little bit, get it down. You can see the tuft is starting to separate away, and it opens, okay? So I'm going to come back in here and massage this right on up. And I'm rounding that edge that we just created that came down onto the beak. I'm rounding that over just slightly, and I'm pulling this back. You get like a little bump right in here. I'm going to soften that a little bit right there, so it rolls. Now let me get my pencil again. So we came across here, we came up here, we came along here, came back, and then we came up. Then we really started excavating out. So I'm going to ask you we're going to excavate around this line, but we're not going to go into the line. I'm going to come right alongside of it here. And then I'm going to make a real big cut in the back. And you can see it there. And the tuft is starting to separate from the head. Okay? So, we'll get a little bit of separation, and you can see that. I opened that up. Hope you can see it as best as I did. Now, I'm going to get a pencil line just so you can see all this, because sometimes the dust makes it disappear. So this tuft was coming around here, and I came and I cleared some of this up in the back and opened it up. This has got a big bump in it. So what I'm going to ask you to do at this point in time, I go with my pear shape. As I find it, I will. I got a pear shape diamond, I lay that in there, and that'll help get me knock this back down a little bit. So, you know what else you can use too? For those who have the hogging bit, you got to be careful with this. This is the tungsten carbide bit. You put that in, and I go all the way so that I'm going to just come across here without touching the tuft now and bringing this down. We got to get that down. Okay. Let me make sure. Yeah. Get this down. This is sort of like on the back end of the tuft. So, I'm going to come in here and sort of shape the head here so that we're still high here, but we want to roll it around now. Okay. See what I'm doing here? So that'll get a lot of it out of the way. Now, I got a gouging here, and I don't know why, but we'll deal with that. So that gets a lot of stuff out real fast, okay? Now what I want to do, you got this tuft is going from here to here and down. Now I'm going to show you how to treat this. This tuft wants to roll, and it's not so curly as it is. So if you look at the width from here to here and take about the midpoint, I'm going to round this over so it's not as projected. I'm going to come in again with the fat flame. And I'm going to hit that pencil line, which is like splitting between this side to that side, about the middle. I'm going to come in here and lower this just a little bit. And I'm going to round this just a little bit, but I'm going to take this as a high point, like it's real fat back here. Just going to take it down, and I'm not taking a lot of material off them. I'm just sort of rounding it over. And getting some shape in there, so it looks like it's flowing up. Still has this brow light coming out here, okay? Now, what I want to do is this tuft, it's still pointy up here. I'm sorry, didn't get it all. I did the body down below, but I didn't get the end of it up here. And you got to watch, because you're thin up there. You want to bring it back down a little bit, but not too much. Sort of sloping it down. So, there we are right there. Okay. Now, what I want to do is down in here, I want to hollow that out a little bit. This is just a little too fat. So I'm going back to my smaller flame. And this is going to get me in to that edge where that pencil is. See where that pencil line? Let me draw that pencil line. So from here over, I'm gonna like undercut a little bit, right through there. Take some of the material back into the head going this way. And then, let me do it this way. Here's the edge of your tuft. And I'm going to go inward. I'm going to make it like concave. So, I'm making it a little hollow right at the end here. So it looks like it thins out. I don't want to get too thin, but I want to go in a little bit. You know what? I think I'm better off with the fatter flame, because what happens is this bit tends to dig in a little bit more, where this one is so fat you can't get in too much trouble. So here we go. I'm going to get this right in there. It gets you there fast because it takes out, it's got a wider area for cutting. And I'm taking that out. I don't know if you can see what I'm trying to accomplish here. Trying to undercut right along there so it dips down in at the same time. From here, this is going back more and more, and I want to keep this like pitched, like it's rolling. So let's see if I can do this. I'm going to get the point in there, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to make it concave. So it dips in a little bit. Not a lot. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then I'm going to blend the head off in that area. And I'm using the back end of this as a rounding device for rolling the head around. Still has a bump right in there, but we'll get that down. Right there. Then I'm going to come in and clean this out a little bit. Now, remember we had this coming around. We don't want to lose that either. This came up and it joined up here. Okay? So, I'm going to come right on up to that with the tuft, even though we go past it. Just going to clean that out like that. All right. Now, we're going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to come in. Oops, I'm sorry. I came higher through here. Remember? Just a little bit. Maybe a millimeter. Come straight across. And then up. And then around. And I want to position these pretty much the same. I want to try to make these tufts look the same. So I'm going to take that shape and look across to see that these two are lined up with each other. Okay. And they look reasonable. Bring that down. So here we go. I'm going to undercut along this line up to the pencil line, making the brow a little higher now. Let me do it this way, like this, so you can see what you're doing. Slightly above the eye. I'm coming around, and I'm undercutting undercutting along that tuft. Okay, then I'm going to come, I'm looking about where this one is in relationship to this one. This would be like straight across. So I'm going to come up here, come across here, and then come back down. And this will be my point of attack. I'm going to come in here. So these two are like in line with each other. Okay, they're almost. They don't have to be perfect, but they just helps it look better. Now, to get separation from the head, the tufts go up in the air. I'm going to come straight back here. Get that tuft sticking up. Now that tuft comes around front like this. Okay, I'm going to clean this up now. Now, we got a big gouge in the back here. So to get rid of that, so that we keep some shape and have some roundness to this head, and this looks like a big gouge in there now, I'm going to go back to my Hagen bit, which is a tungsten carbide bit. I'm going to put that in. And then I'm going to come right across without going into the brow, okay? I mean, into the tuft, excuse me. This tuft is coming around here. So everything away from this pencil line, I want to blend away. So I'm going to knock this down. Just that fast. See how fast that comes down? This is a much more aggressive tool. Now you can start seeing this head rolling a little bit. And the tuft is sticking out more. Okay, that's what we're trying to achieve. And they don't have to be perfect because these tufts aren't all looking the same, but we want to try to balance him out so he doesn't look like he's got one tuft up, one tuft down. So there we are. We're getting there. I'm just going to massage the top of his head just a little bit while I got the Hagen bit here. So you can see this is rounding over. Still got a bump here, but I'll just take that down right now softly. This is much more rolling. Okay, so we're starting to get this dome effect in here. We still have the roundness a little bit more back here, like this, and we can do this with the Hagen bit. That's coming around nicely. And then we want this side right here. Excuse me. Here's an edge that I'm concerned with that I got to knock down and roll. So I come right down the middle of it, roll it to the right, to the left, get that roundness. Excuse me. Okay. Now, here's where we have this tuft again. I'm going to smooth all this out with the big fat flame. And I said, just like we did up here, this tuft comes down like this, comes up, around, and then down. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking the distance between here and here, and split it in half, and then I'm going to roll it. But I need the flame, so let me show you how to do that. I hope I've been in the camera range all this time, because I tend to drift sometime. I don't want you to miss what I'm trying to do. Now, when we undercut here, we have an edge, and you can see some of it right here. The edge is here and here. That's our pencil line. So I'm going to come in and soften that ever so slightly with the point. Then I'm going to round that over. And like I say, do this gently so that you stay in control. And you want to make this side look like this side. Now you can see how this one back here, this has a bump right in here. So this needs to be put in. But like I was saying, we want to round this too. So I'm going to come in here and get a roll in here from one side to the other. And I'm even going to round this a little bit, get it rounded. Okay, on the back here, on the top. So this looks like it's dipping down a little bit. And then this comes up. And this comes down, because this is really high. Here's another area that I need to roll up and roll around. So let me get this in again. We came out of here. We want to come across here. We want to come back here. And we want to come up here. Oops, excuse me. Got my hat, or my optivisors in the way here. This comes around to here. And this comes down here. So let me do some cleaning up here. I'm going to clean this up in here. I'm going to lay this bit back in here again, gently, right along that pencil line, and this pencil line right here. I'm going to blend that out so it looks like it's floating down into the eye. Always want to keep this concave area going into the eye. And it's gentle. It's not like you got to be aggressive on any of this, because it doesn't take much to get the material out. Then there's an edge there, I see. And we're starting to come together. And I did it again. Sorry about that with the camera. I'm going to blend this out under here. Okay. Then I'm going to cut in. I'm going to cut in from about here down to here. I'm going to just drive this point right in here on the back of the tub. And then I'm going to make it concave. And what I mean by concave, I'm going to come in. Here's the top. I'm going to go into that and thin it out. But it's going to be hollowed out, I should say. And you get it a little thin on the upper edge here, but not too much, because you don't want to blow through it with your bit. And at the same time, we'll come in here and clean this up a little bit more, but at least we'll get the structure going. And this comes around here. And you can see all this is like inward. It's like concave in there. It's all dished in. Okay? Now, I need to round this over a little bit more. So I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to push that back a little bit more right in here. And when I say push back, it's not like I'm taking a lot out. I'm not. So we're getting pretty close now. And I think what I'm going to do is stop it here. So here's what we did. We came up, we penciled just above the eye, okay? We came across, we came back here, and we came around. We lowered the head back here, but we really undercut it right at the end of this first tuft. And once we established that, we took all the material away in here. Then you got your fat flame in here, and then you dished it out, okay? Made that concave in there, so it looks like it's like a floating. And then you rounded this. In fact, I can even take a little bit more off back here to round it over a little bit more. And then I undercut it down to here. I see I still got to clean this up a little bit, but most of this is rolling. Then I got that fat flame all the way through here. Then I blended it back towards the eye, and then I rolled this around. Then if you remember from the distance from here to the tuft up where it came forward, you take about a midpoint, and that's your point of rolling it around. And then it should transition down to here. And you have like a little rise and fall right in here too. This isn't perfect, but I'll dress it out a little bit. This is a little fatter on this side, but what you can do is I can come back and take it from here and go in again right here. I think I'm a little high right in here, but in general, that's what we're trying to achieve. See, and this could be cut a little bit more inward. I'm trying to make this side look pretty good and then make this one match, okay? So I'll do a little more finagling over here. Let me just do this real quick. I'm going to come in here in this corner and move that in a little bit more. And then I'm going to come in here and brush that tuft out so it looks like it's lifting off of the head just a little bit. Still part of the head feathers. And I'm going to soften this now, even after I separate it, and bring it around, because I don't want any hard lines here yet. Okay. That looks pretty good. And I said I'd round this a little bit, so it's just a matter of just touching it. Same way here, I can just touch it. We're going to split them too. When we do the burning, we're going to split through some of this as well. Some of the head, when I was cleaning this out in the back, I want to roll this down a little bit right in here. Not too much. We're gonna be manicuring some more of this head as we go. Now, the biggest thing is you got to take the material off and get it blended back so it looks like it's rolling. Okay, and that's done with a hogging bit. But in general, that's what we're trying to do. We have the beak out, and it should have like a little loop in here. You got a point up front, you got a little loop in here. Okay, this is on top here, though. I'm just drawing from underneath. This is sweeping up to it still. And this is sweeping up to it too. We're going to be doing a lot more massaging of this face yet. We're just starting. So if you can get this much done, remember this beak comes up and around up here, okay? And this is almost like a diamond shape, you know, it's like coming down. It's got a facet this way and a facet that way. But instead of a pointed one here, you're rounding this top, okay? And so this should be falling short of center. If it gets a little longer and out of your control, just come around and undercut it a little bit, but make sure it looks balanced, you know what I mean? We can always massage that and get it right later. When we undercut the beak, we undercut about 3 millimeters down local to this bottom V here. And then we blend it back. And I did that twice. So I took it down about 1.5 millimeters the first time, and then another 1.5 millimeters to get depth, to get separation so that the beak looks like it lifts up and the body goes back down, okay? So I hope you got something out of this one. I hope you learned something from it. And if you did, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up. If you can subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that too. If you have friends that are interested in doing this, if you could put them onto my channel, that'd be great. And if anybody needs anything like the kits or something like that, or eyes or feet or anything, for a lot of different birds, I carry everything, and even equipment like the ram grinder and what have you, they're available. So I have the patterns and everything. I appreciate everybody staying with me, and I hope you can get something out of this. If I confused you in some areas of this, there's a comment section in my video. If you can make comments, or if you want to contact me, we can get connected. And if you can do it through my email to start, and then we can go from there, and I can try to alleviate maybe something like got you a little confused or something like that. So if you got this far, this would be great. And then we're going to go on more. We're going to even massage this face, and things will change as we go. Like I said, it's not so critical. We're just trying to get a shape in there right now. This beak has a little more detail to get into it. The face is going to change a little bit more. Even the tufts, if you know, if you got one large and one small and it ain't too out of proportion, you can live with it. You know what I mean? There's nothing that says you can't. And I'll try to show you, you know, as I go, where I may have made some more changes and took a little more out or something like that. I'm looking at this right now from this angle, and I see this is rolling like this, and I feel as though when I came around here, I think I should be cutting through this a little bit more. So it's a sort of like, once you got one side done, then you want to make the other side look the same. And that's a trick, but just take your time and don't do too much at one time. You're not taking a lot out. You're not being aggressive on this. This is a very fine grinding in this area, because it's so small that you don't have, you can make mistakes real easy. And if you only have a small flame rather than the fat flame, you can get in trouble at times. The fat flame tends to dig in, which is what you want, especially like when we got into the beak area here. And then the fatter one tends to, because it's so wide, you can't take a lot, well, you can take a lot out, but you tend to be a little more forgiving with this one. This one tends to go right in real fast. And then when you need to round things, the pear is ideal, you know what I mean, for just rolling things or blending things back. I've been using the back end of the fat flame to do that, and not the point, to roll things. And it almost mimics some of the pear shape, but the pear shape whenever I carve a lot, pear shape tends to do a lot of everything. But in this case here, this is doing a lot right now, the flame. So hope you got something out of it. I'll see you in the next video, and we're still going to be working on the face. So bear with me on that, and then maybe we'll get down and start laying feathers in here. So stay with me, and hopefully we'll get you there. And see you on the next video.